Perfect.
Yes, start please.
Yes.
Yeah.
So everything's fine? Everybody can see?
Yes, yes.
Ma'am, yes. It's fine.
Okay. So hello everybody, hello from Germany. Today I'm going to do a presentation about apparatus technical elements in rhythmic gymnastics. And today I'm going to focus on hoop and ball. First I'm going to start with some general stuff. Then I will give like the requirements, the fundamental technical elements, some catches and throws, and some ADs we're going to also discuss. And in the end, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks that I've learned or developed in my coach's career so far. In rhythmic gymnastics, it's very difficult, and it's also written down in the code of points that all difficulties need to be performed very safely and with a very high degree of technical and aesthetical proficiency. So here you really have to check that everything is done very safely. This is very important in rhythmic gymnastics, to do things clean. And all the elements that are not recognized or poorly performed, they will give no value or they will be deducted. And there's a lot of deduction, as you probably all know. So it's very important to do things safely. Every apparatus has 4 fundamental apparatus technicals and some non-fundamental apparatus technical groups. Every apparatus technical element can only be performed once identically during a difficulty. So, for example, if I'm doing a roll in a balance, if I want to do another element with the roll, I have to change something. I cannot do completely identically. So, do you have any ideas what I need to change? For example, I do a roll over 2 arms in a balance. And next, I want to do also element with the roll. There are certain things that I can change. So the roll is not completely identical, but different, and I can use the roll again. So are there any ideas what we can do, what we can change?
Camilia, you can go ahead.
I can go ahead. Okay. So it's, for example, different planes, different directions, different levels, different amplitude, or different part of the body. And it's very important to understand that you cannot do the complete identical roll again or a complete identical technical element again, but there need to be changes. Now I'm coming to the ball. For the ball, the handling, it should be learned in very early stages because it's most general apparatus that we have in rhythmic gymnastics. It's very basic, and it's, with the rope together should be the first one that you learn in rhythmic gymnastics. And it's also the heaviest apparatus that you have. And so if you can throw a ball high, you can throw like every other apparatus high, because from the weight, it's the most heaviest. And if you learn with the ball to throw, for example, you will be able to throw at any other apparatus. The code of points, it says that it's not typical to handle the ball with 2 hands. So you should really look at that the gymnasts don't take the ball with 2 hands too much. It may not be at all, in best case, only in very small amount in the composition, but not very visible also. But it always should be shown, and it's a sign for very good technique, that you keep the ball only in 1 hand, and of course in the right manner also. So the ball is supported on the hand, and it should be in the middle of the hand, and on the fingers, they join the ball in a very natural manner. So the ball does not touch the forearm, and the fingers are with the ball in a very natural manner. In ball, there are, of course, 4 fundamental apparatus technical groups. It's the bounces, the roll, the 8 figures, and the catch with one hand. And here again, it is shown that the handling of the ball with one hand in ball is very, very important. So even the catch with one hand, it's in the fundamental apparatus technical group. And I will focus on that today. For bounces, there are different ways of bouncing. You can bounce with one hand, with 2 hands, you can change the hand. So that's also what you should do in the beginning when learning like the apparatus technicals. Bouncing is quite easy. So you should start with making them feel to bounce with the right hand, with the left hand, with changing the hand, with 2 hands, and then going from big to very small. They need to feel differences between strong and big bounces or very small and fast bounces. Every gymnast needs to understand how the ball feels. So yeah, then you can start and adding, for example, like some small steps while bouncing, or some turns, or even some jumps, or you can maybe bounce with closed eyes, so the gymnast can feel the ball or the differences between small and big bounces even better. Furthermore, of course, you can bounce with different parts of the body or without visual. So there are a lot of options. I will give you like very short video of some bounces. So it's going from big to small with the changing of the hand or with the body in jumps. So that's what you can learn with younger gymnasts, for example, to really go to the start, to learn different bounces while still standing. And then from that, by a combination of all that skills that you have until that point, that you can bounce in different ways, that you can bounce without visual, with a different part of the body. From there, you can go to ADs, and you need always to go from the simple movements to more difficult, more complex movements. And in the end, you can develop ADs. What is very important for the bouncing and for, of course, every apparatus technical element is if you do it, if you perform it in a body difficulty, it needs to be in the body difficulty. So the action of bounce or the catch needs to be in the body difficulty. What I realize a lot is that, for example, in jumps, the gymnasts, they bounce really after the jump or in the ending of the jump because it's more comfortable. They jump and then in the end, while landing, they bounce. And that's, so element will be 0. There's no apparatus difficulty in the element, so it will be 0 after. So bouncing in jumps, for example, it's not that easy. It's better for balances, for example. On the picture, you can see Jana Kudryavtseva doing a penché and bouncing, small bounces she's doing. So she needs to do 3 of that, and she needs to do 3 of that in releve. All 3 small bounces need to be in that position that she's in. If she's not doing that, it will be 0. And that's very important. So on the next slide, I'm going to show you some videos of different ADs, and I want to know what you think, what you see. Do you think it will be counted? Do you think it will not be counted? Is it with deduction maybe? It's quite good examples. So all the gymnasts that I will show, they perform already quite well. It's on a high level. So it's really about small mistakes maybe that happen, and even that small mistakes can like give a deduction I want to show to you. So
okay, Camilla. Kurpali ma'am, please look and give the answer for this. Please coordinate.
So I will do it from the beginning, the video. So it's this AD first that I want to show you. It's with the bounce, of course. We are talking about bounces. So what do you think about this AD? Is it counted?
Kurpali ma'am, please coordinate. Kurpali ma'am, are you there? No. Pooja ma'am, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please coordinate with the answer.
Yes, it's count.
Yes, it's true. Of course, it's count. She performs very well. What we can see is that her left foot is not really stretched. So there is a small deduction of 0.1 that you can give. But the idea, it's very clean. It's well done. So it's counted. Here comes another example. It's again this one, I'm sorry, but now comes the next example.
Yes, Camilla, it's count, but when she catches the ball, her arm is not really good stretched. So if she could have caught it with stretched arm, then there will be no penalty for execution. So
Perfect answer, perfectly right. Idea is for sure counted. Again, some small deduction maybe in execution. And that's really what I want to show to you, that like even the smallest things, they can give deduction in elements. Like even if it seems maybe for the first time that you look at it, or you think it's perfectly right, but if you look at it again, there still will be always mistakes, and that's what you always need to have to work on. And now a third video. Only some examples more that I put for you. Some bounces, just different bounces for you to have some ideas what you can do, what bounces you can do in 80s. So now I'm coming to roll of the ball. The roll of the ball, it's way more difficult than the bounces. So if you start with a small gymnast, for sure you will start with bounces. And rolls, they will come way later because it's a lot more difficult. There are rolls on the floor, but they are non-fundamental techniques, and there are rolls on the arms, which are fundamental techniques. The roll on the floor, of course, it's more easy, and it's also good if you learn with the gymnast, if you start with the gymnast to learn the roll, to start with the roll on the floor, so they can just feel how the ball rolls, how it's moving, how fast it's maybe moving, if you give how much strength for the ball. And after you start with the rolls over the arms, there are also, of course, deductions as everywhere if the roll is incomplete, because the roll should be over two large parts of the body, and that's also very important. There will be deduction of 0.1, or if the roll, for example, is with small bounces, there can also be deduction of 0.1. So if the ball, for example, is jumping a little bit on the arm or on the breast, if you roll over the breast, so it's happening a lot, but it will always be deducted with 0.1.
Ist doch egal, wir haben doch mehrere Versuche.
Here's some rolls on the front or in the back. So she's doing quite well. The ball is not jumping too much, but her arms, for example, they are moving a bit. So it would be better if these arms were not moving. I can show you also again. But the ball is quite soft if it's rolling. It's not jumping. And also in the back, it's not jumping, but she's moving her arms. She could do that better, of course. There are also rolls over the body or without visual, of course, with turning, and even with jumps, you can roll, which is most difficult, but also you can create an AD from, for example, from that. But if you can roll softly in a jump, then you've learned the roll, I can tell you. But of course, it's most difficult skill of all. And with all this combination again, so you start to build up from small rolls, only over one arm, then over two arms, then in the back, then without the body, and you go always from the easy to the difficult again, and in the end you can do ADs, and you can do very safe ADs if you learned very correct techniques. I have also some video here again of some simple rolls. over the arm with the turning.
Yeah.
On the side. Here the ball is jumping, so would be deduction over the arm. Here again the ball is jumping, would be with deduction.
Aber kannst du noch mal ganz zeigen?
On the floor, of course,
Ja,
also some rolls.
Dann
It's very good to feel how the ball is rolling, how it's behaving, or even here you can do, and it would be without visual, without hands, so it's already very good. And now again, I have a video with some ADs with rolls, and you can give your opinion, or you can look at it and think what if it would be counted or no.
I requested to coaches, please put the answer for the questions.
So here's AD with roll. What do you think? Will it be counted or no?
Pali ma'am, are you there? From Shipra, yes, it is counted. In my chat box, Camilia, I got answer from Shipra Joshi. She said, yes, it's counted.
It's counted, correct. But there's very small bounce, so it can also be with deduction again. So if you look,
one deduction.
Here the ball is jumping a little bit. So it's just that small bounces that we are talking about. Then here's another example. What do you think here?
Anyone?
निकिता बेटा वो कुरपाली का अनम्यूट कर दो.
Pooja ma'am, Shipra, can you please write the right answer or someone others? Jasbir ma'am, Neetu ma'am.
ये आवाज नहीं आ रही आपको?
Yes, now आ रही है मैम अभी आपकी.
Okay. Can you repeat, Camilia?
Camilla, can you please repeat the video?
Of course, I can give a review. Here, it's again in slow motion.
Yes, Kurpali ma'am.
Yeah, I can. I said yes.
Yes, Camilla ma'am, they are saying yes. From every coach said yes, it's counted.
It's counted, but again with deduction, because she's very bending her arm. You can see the moment when she starts to roll that her arm is very bended and she's pulling the ball or pushing the ball to her forehand. So she's grabbing it, and so there will be a deduction again. But yes, it will be counted.
Nice.
And one last example with the ball.
What do you think about it, ma'am?
Yeah.
Ma'am says not counted.
Not counted. I'd say it's counted because the ball is perfectly rolling. In my opinion, she's putting it on, you can see here, it's over two parts of the body. It's going on the back and then on the arms, and there's no bounce, nothing. It's really rolling to her arm. Over the back, and it's rolling to her arm. So in my opinion, it's very good.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, very good example. So next thing is 8 figures. The 8 figures in ball, they are very good to learn, like how to keep the ball right in your hand. Because in 8 figures, the ball needs to be balanced all the time. You cannot grab the ball, you cannot push it to your forehand. So it really needs to be pulled in the right, hold in the right manner, and it needs to be balanced in the whole 8 figure. And it's very important to not grab it here. So you can learn 8 figures also with small girls, so they can understand how they need to hold the ball. It's very good to learn that technique. And of course, there's that 0-1 deduction for grasping the ball or for squeezing the fingers in. Yeah, the 8 figure, it can be done in different directions or in different levels. There are not too many examples, but still it is very important for a ball composition because it makes it soft and elegant. It's very soft movement. It's very clean movement also. And if you, for example, have a small music with the ball, which is mostly the case, you have to put a lot of aids with the waves and to really go with the music, and then you will have a good impression in the end. And to have that, you need to do the 8 figure very clean, very good. Here's some examples for 8 figures, like in this direction or the other way around, or here you can change the level. Yeah, it's only a few examples. The next fundamental technique with the ball is the catch with one hand, and it must be from a medium or large throw, and it's very important. So it does not give, it will not be counted if you do a small throw, like 1 meter or something, and it will not be counted, but it must be minimum double the height of the gymnast you throw to be a medium one. And then you need to really understand how to catch the ball proper, to be able to catch also high throws with one hand. And here I want to show to you like what I mean. If you throw your ball first, you have to throw it from this point of your hand. Like from here, you have to throw the ball. So it's not rotating, because if you do like this, and it's what a lot of gymnasts do, it's really moving very fast. So nobody will catch proper this ball, because you need to grab it to catch a ball that is going like this very fast. But you need to throw from here. That's the point where the ball leaves your hand. And if you catch, you need to be able to catch from here, and the hand is following the movement of the ball. So the ball can land very soft. It starts on your fingertips, and then it goes down together. The hand goes down with the ball, and you move, and then you can finish with a small 8, for example, to go really soft with the ball. It's very important to be able to do that catch from all throws. And of course, you start with the small throws, and after you go to larger and larger and larger throws until you're able to catch very high throws also. So I'm going back to my presentation. So there's of course also 0-1 deduction if you need the help of the other hand. So that's not possible. Here I have in the video a small example of, for example, how you can practice if they are able to do already throws in a certain height. You can start to do rotations maybe under the throws, to also make them able to do rotation and still catch with one hand, and just do 1 rotation, 2 rotation, 3 rotation, and let's see how far they come. For example, this gymnast here, she's doing 1 rotation, then she's doing 2 rotations still with one hand, then she's doing 3 rotations also with one hand, but 4 she's not able to catch with one hand anymore. So here you can see she was able until 3 chenets, she catched with one hand. She has quite good technique, but the 4th chenet, it was too much. Here she was not able anymore. All throws and catches that you do, you need to be able to do them with the right and the left hand. For example, if you have an AD in your routine and the ball is not flying like perfect, you also need to be able to catch the ball very good with the non-preferred hand, because it will always happen that the ball is not perfect for your right hand, for example, but you need to catch it with the left hand. So you should always learn to do both hands. And not only for this reason, but also for health reason, it's very important. Otherwise you will develop asymmetries in your body. So it's very important to always throw the right and the left hand. And as I already explained to you before, the ball should not rotate too much in the air. Otherwise, you will not be able to catch it in the right manner. And to make it more obvious to you how important it is to throw absolute perfect, if you only do one step and you don't lose the ball, but you just do one step to the ball, for example, it will already be deduction of 0.3. If you do 2 steps, or if you do chassé, you know, everybody knows that chassé, then it will already be deduction of 0.5. So it's very important to be able to throw in a perfect way and to catch in a perfect way without any steps, just by standing still. And what you can also, for example, do if you then want to practice different throws and different catches is to combine things like throwing and rolling. You can, for example, catch with the roll, because here you have to really catch very soft, otherwise the roll is not working. So it's also good to make the gymnast feel what it means to catch the ball soft. If you make them, let them catch in a roll, otherwise the ball will just bounce, or will just bounce from your body. But if it's working, it needs to be very soft. For example, here she's catching with the roll. Here it's quite easy, or with the roll over 2 arms, the ball is still bouncing. And some other examples of small catches that you can learn with them. They are very basic, and every gymnast should be able to do them. In the back. So these catches you need to learn with your gymnast always, because they're very useful, they're not difficult, and you can use them as ADs also. This is more, of course, more difficult a little bit. But these are very typical ADs that everybody's doing, and if you are able to do it, you will always be able to do it. So, I mean, it's really clean from the technique, and very, if you learned it, it will be a safe one in competitions. And here on this slide, I will show you again some examples for ADs with the throws and catches, and you can give your opinion again if you want to.
Please give your opinion about video.
So here she's catching in the roll, what I showed to you before. I can show again, maybe it was a little bit.
Yeah, Camilia, it's too short. Please show it again.
Yeah. Here, she catches with the feet.
Any opinion about this video? RG coaches, please.
The first one was catch.
Yeah, it was catched. So no big deduction, maybe a little bit because she's jumping from
Yes.
close, but still it's okay. She catches.
Yes, from K Shipra, it's a 0.10 deduction in a
Yes,
catch.
that's true. So here's next example with the body difficulty. So she's jumping and catching. Show again. She's jumping and catching. What do you think?
Any opinion about this? Rupali ma'am?
She's catching. Well, it is not clear to me the video, but when I think she's catching unseen without help of hands. She's raising her leg. Is it?
She's throwing under the feet.
Under the leg?
She's throwing under the leg.
And during body difficulty.
I'm sorry, maybe the videos are a little bit too short. I'm sorry. But yeah, she's throwing under the feet.
Under the leg during body difficulty.
Yes. So it's perfectly right. The AD is perfectly right. But she's doing 2 steps to catch the ball, at least. Yes. 1 or 2 steps. So here will be deduction of 0.3 at least.
I have a question, Camilla.
Yes.
One for the coaching and one for the one question is for catching. Like you said, the catch, she's doing the throw under leg during body difficulty. Catch is perfect, but after that she throw is perfect. But for the catch, she's taking 2 steps.
Yes,
I think so. So do you think that it is counted the catch just taking 2 steps and doing her catch, or she is supposed to do some movements or dancing movements, some choreography, then it is to be counted?
She should better do some dancing movements like this. She will get deduction for sure because she's just doing a step. Like I think 1 step is for landing of the jump. So she's doing 1 step to the apparatus, 1 step deduction 0.3. She should better do a dance movement there, of course, but I think it will still be counted. With
It will be counted, right?
Yes, but with the deduction of 0.3 because she's doing 1 step.
And
Camilia, there is one question about body difficulty. Is it a keep movement?
Yes, it's okay. I mean, maybe also with deduction, but still there's 1 second where both the feet are in the air and she's doing a split, so will be counted.
Camilia, to teach throw to the gymnast,
Yes.
small beginner gymnast, or you can say from the age 8 to 10, is it possible to make them throw with the weight bands? Is it injurious or no?
Like 500 grams
Yes.
on the arms or something like this.
Okay. For the young gymnast from age to 10, is it injurious?
If it's not too heavy, I don't think so. No.
Biomechanically, is it correct?
Yes, but always to do both hands, very important. If you always do both sides, then you can also take higher loads, of course, but always important to do both sides. Asymmetries are like, in most cases, lead to injuries. Not only high loading or whatever, but mostly it's asymmetries because we work a lot only with 1 hand or 1 leg, but it's important to always do both. For example, in the end of the training, you can always do the other hand, like throw 20 times or something to be better for the body.
Camilia,
Yes.
Thanks.
I have one question. As per you, this one written text, you have said that if 2 step is a deduction for 0.5, and here she is taking, if gymnast take a 2 step, whether this element will be counted.
I think that 1 step that she's doing is from the landing and she needs to land somehow. So you cannot give a deduction for that step, but the other step is to the apparatus. So of course there's 1 step that will be deducted and it's deduction of 0.3.
Yeah, no doubt. 1 step is a 0.3. If she will take a 2 step, then element will be counted because deduction is more than required, means 0.5.
Normally no, because with a big mistake, so deduction 0.5 elements will not be counted.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Camilia. We can go ahead, Camilia, please.
Yeah, so and now in the video, there are just some more example for ADs. They will just go. Oh.
I'm sorry, Manoj, I interrupted her. I'm so sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
So here just more examples of different
Okay,
catches.
no problem.
Here, catch in the back. It's very often did, or like catch on the floor, in the back again. And some throws with the feet or behind. These are quite safe options that you can also learn, and the gymnast will do it if she learned it. This is a little bit more difficult technically. So, as we all know, we don't have a lot of time in trainings. So it's very important to combine different parts of the trainings. So to not do like, for example, 1 hour physical preparation and after 1 hour ball techniques, it will take too much time because you also need to practice routines and you have 5 apparatus to learn. So what I can give you like advice is to do, for example, if they are at a certain level. I mean, you can do it with the beginners, but if they also already can do some rolls or if they can do bounces and small throws, you can start to combine physical preparation, for example, with the ball techniques. So there is a big variety of all kind of things that you can do with the ball or with the body. I have some examples here. We do it a lot, so I can also give you more examples. what you have to be careful about is that the body elements or the execution of the body is still on a high level. So if the gymnast is not able to do, I don't know, whatever you do, plank, for example, if she's not able to do it right anymore, you should take the ball away or the apparatus away and first learn the body again. So first learn the body and then the body with the apparatus. And there's of course no limit for your creativity. So here are some examples what you can do with the rolls, for example.
Ja, und das halten, genau.
With the arms, you can like do the bouncing or rolls like here. Rolls on the floor, it's also good to combine with your physical preparation.
Mit Flippen.
So you're combining different parts of your trainings together.
Freie Armfeste. Mit Hintenrollen. Mit Scheren runtergehen. Unten prallen und schnell hochkommen.
For example, the planks, which is very important for your trunk, to do it all the time.
Ja.
For the back muscle, you can always combine everything.
Ja.
So just some impressions of what you can do, for example, with ball in physical preparation. Now I'm coming to the hoop, and the requirements for hoop, they are passing through the hoop, roll of the hoop over minimum 2 large parts of the body, rotation with the hoop around the hand or a part of the body, and rotation around its own axis. For passing through the hoop, it's very important that it goes over 2 large segments of the body. So for example, the arm and the upper body, or the leg and the upper body, but not only to pass through the arm, so it will not be counted. And also the passing through, it needs to be in the element. Again, if you combine with the body difficulty, be sure that you pass through 2 parts of your body in the body difficulty, not in the preparation, not in the ending. Otherwise, your body difficulty will not be counted. And of course, you can pass in and out or only in one direction. And be careful if you pass through the hoop and your feet get caught in the hoop. It's deduction of 0.3, and it's kind of really stupid mistake, because you just need to be careful in that case. So be careful for that your gymnasts don't do like this stupid mistakes that will cost you a lot of points that are not necessary. So give them a hint, like to be more careful with the hoop when passing through. The roll of the hoop, it's kind of the same as for the ball. It needs to be over 2 large segments of the body. And the hoop, of course, it also cannot jump, or what often happens is that the hoop is just flying from the one hand to the other without touching really the body. So be careful that the hoop is going over every part of the body, that it's touching everywhere and it's really rolling and it's not flying, because then it will of course be 0 again. And the level of the hoop, it also needs to be clear, because often rolls the hoop, it starts to have like weird, let's say, levels. So it really needs to be either vertical or horizontal. So make sure that there's a clear level also of the hoop. And it's also the same deductions here with the hoop as for the ball. if the roll is incomplete, there's deduction of 0.1, or if the hoop is bouncing, it's 0.1. Here's some rolls. The hoop is not really bouncing. Here it's a little bit bouncing. Here it's a little bit flying, for example. And here's some just nice combination. Now also I will show you some ADs with some rolls, and you can give your opinion. So here she's rolling and turning over the arms.
Anyone, please?
Yeah, but there was one bounce over here.
Yes, there's a bounce. It's true. So it's with deduction. It will be counted, but with deduction of 0.1. And a few more examples. But what you can always see that this bouncing of the hoop, it happens very fast. So be careful here, because it's also a sign of very good technique. If you're able to roll the hoop without bouncing in difficult ADs or in difficult movements, you have really good techniques, and that's what people want to see, that you're able to do that. So don't jump from, they are not able to even roll the hoop normally, to doing some crazy ADs, but first learn how to roll the hoop properly, to be able to do ADs in the end that will be counted. And not with deduction of 0.1 all the time, because if your AD is only 0.2 or 0.3 and you get deduction 2 times of 0.1, nothing will be left, and you do it for nothing.
Answer 0.3 AD with a 0.1 deductions. Answer from
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Because with the roll it's 0.3, but for example, with the bouncing of the ball, AD will only be 0.2, you get deduction of 0.1, nothing is left in the end. So that's why you need to be very careful with those small deductions, and that you will only be possible to do things without small deductions if you have very clean and very good techniques in the basics. For the rotation of the hoop, it needs to be minimum 1. So 1 is not a lot, and everybody will think like, oh, 1 rotation is very fast. But be careful that this 1 rotation, it has to be also in the element. You cannot do rotation and preparation, short balance and go down, then you will have nothing in your element, and your element will be 0 again. So make sure that at least 1 rotation is really happening in the element, in the body difficulty, or also in the AD. And therefore, you'd better do 2 or 3 rotations to be sure that it will happen. So here she's also already combining with AD, and she's doing like a few rotations. So this is example for what you can do in body difficulty. She's rotating. Of course, the level is not perfect, but it's also quite difficult. So here you would work on the level of the hoop. And also some ADs. Here I will just show the ADs to you, because I think it's quite clear. What you can see is that the rotation of the hoop, it can be very well combined with, for example, transmission, or with passing through the hoop, or with throws also. And so you can combine different ADs with each other to get more points. Here she's doing transmission. She's throwing, so it will be combination of ADs. She's passing through. Then there's a rotation of the hoop around its axis, and it can also be performed in different levels, axis and directions. It's very useful for balances, for example, like most gymnasts will do it in balances, penché balance with this rotation around its own axis, like very common, because it does not take too much time and you can execute very well. You can start your balance, do the rotation and finish your balance. So also it's more difficult, of course, to do it in jumps or in rotation. It's very difficult. So because the hoop will mostly fly from your hand. So for young gymnasts, it's very important to better do it in a position where you're standing, for example, a balance. Around the body. It's like the very basic techniques that like everybody should learn. On the palm, to rotate as often as you can. And also some ADs. It's only a few examples here. She's turning or on the leg or in body difficulty. Now we're going to the throws with the hoop. Of course, for the throws and catches with the hoop, it's mostly the same rules as for every other apparatus. You cannot do steps, you cannot do chassé. The hoop needs to fly very correct. Without also here, it cannot rotate too much. It's always less rotation is better technique. No matter which axis you take, which throw you take, which apparatus you take, it's always the same rules. The apparatus should not rotate too much because you need to throw high and calm and without rotation to be able to do difficult catches. And it's not possible if the apparatus is moving very fast. The hoop, it has a lot more variations in throws, as for example, the ball, because you can make it in different levels. You can let it rotate around its own axis. So there are a lot of possibilities, but also there are a lot of deductions again, and they are all for 0-3. For example, if the trajectory is not right, it will be deduction of 0-3, and it happens a lot with the hoop, especially with the throws around the own axis. You need to be very careful that the axis is very good and the hoop is rotating right. Otherwise, there will be very high deduction. Also, the gymnasts, they often catch their apparatus with contact with the arm. It's also deduction of 0-3, and it happens very fast. So be very careful here, especially if they are afraid in competitions and they want to do safe catch. They will always take it with the arms, but they will only get deductions for everything and no points. And also here, often the hoop is catched with like a passing through the hoop. Be careful that you don't get caught in the hoop with your feet. It's all deduction of 0-3 and it's a lot. And here are some basic throws, some example, like just normal throw.
Okay.
She's doing very small
So,
step.
genau. Dann so mit,
This is throw around its own axis
genau.
with the jump.
Gut, Vika.
So here you need to be careful for the axis, a planar throw. This is, for example, for wrists or ADs. Also for AD, or you can combine different ADs with each other. And then you can also just do with rotations. And it's also something that I can like give advice to you. It's very important for the gymnast to be able to rotate very fast, because nowadays they need to do a lot of rotations all the time, rotate in all directions everywhere. So they need to do it very fast. In the routine, you won't combine like 3 chenille because it doesn't give you any points. To do just 3 chenille, it's not very good because you would always combine 2 different rotations. But for reasons of learning a rotation and learning how to rotate very fast, it's a very good tool to just do 1 chenille, 2 chenille, 3 chenille, or 1 roll, 2 roll, 3 roll, so they can understand how to throw the apparatus, how to rotate very fast, and how to do very good techniques in the rotations. If you always combine too much the rotations, they will not learn a clean technique for one rotation. So just for reasons of learning all that stuff, it's very good tool to combine 1, 2, 3 rolls, and they will have a lot of fun with that also.
Manoj,
Yes, ma'am.
I have one question regarding the coaching of this throw. Can I ask her?
Yes, yes, ma'am, please.
Camilia,
Yes.
I have seen many gymnasts, especially during the oblique throws,
Yes.
during the axis throws for the risk.
Yes.
The gymnasts, what they do, they bend their body and then they throw. So there is a coordination of the head and the arm and wrist. So what is it supposed to be?
I should be one line.
I've seen in my country. So I just want to know the angle and the coordination, whether head should be up with the hand or it should go first up and then hand. I want to clarify that.
Wait 1 second. So you're asking if she is first putting the head and then throwing, or if it should be together. Am I right?
What is the right?
What is the right position to throw?
Like if you first move your head and then do the throw, you're not really controlled in your upper body, because to throw correctly, you need to be very strong here. If you first move your head, you're not very strong here anymore. So I would advise to you to do it all together, and you will have more power for your throw and to throw more higher. This here needs to always do technique like this, and it's not very good.
My question is that, of course, the head will not be so high, but when the young gymnast here, I can talk about my girls over here in India, for them, when they go down, and they should take first head up in this direction and throw, or it should go with the hand. That is the angle I'm just asking.
I think you should go with the head.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Manoj.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
So here will be some throws also with IDs, and some throws and catches with the hoop. So she's catching the hoop in roll. What do you think? Will still be counted?
Was there roll?
Yeah, there was roll. She was trying to catch, at least to try. She wanted to catch and roll.
Then it's okay.
It's okay, but here's happening what I told you before. The roll is not really touching the upper body, but it's just more going from one arm to the other arm. So it would be better here if if the hoop is really touching her body in every part. So it's really not touching the breast, but it's just going. Here's another example of catching in a roll. You think it's fine?
Yes, Camilia, go ahead.
Go ahead, please.
Yes.
And some more
Madhu.
catches for ADs. Just some examples without visual. And some throws also. And what else you can do to, make it more interesting, the trainings when learning all the techniques, is one thing you can combine with physical preparation, but you can also combine like the apparatus, for example, to take 2 balls or one ball and one hoop, or whatever you like to. So it's very good also to improve your coordinative skills, but you have to have, because you have to have a really good timing. If you throw one apparatus and you do something else with the other apparatus, the timing needs to be very good to be able to do your skill or your task. And also all the throws and all the techniques that you do, they need to be very precise. So that's all things that are very important. And all this brings you in a situation where you learn to perform under pressure, and regarding the timing, the precision, the situation, or the complexity, and also the load that is, I mean, the load that the movement has. And this is training of coordinative skills. So it's very good to do, and you should do it a lot. First, of course, they need to be able to do it with only one apparatus, all techniques, but after they can do with the two apparatus, and first with two same, then with two different apparatus. And you have there's a lot of freedom also for you, what you want to do, because it's a lot of possibilities. For example, with the jumping and catching, or with passing the ball, with the double, with the hoop. So, and all the throws, they need to be correct, otherwise you will not be able to catch them. If the one ball was flying very far, she cannot catch it anymore. With the roll, so she is really under time pressure, looking for the roll, because she has to do 2 rolls now and catch the hoop. So it needs to be very fast. So pressure on gymnasts is way higher than if she only has one apparatus, and it's more like compared to the pressure that gymnast has in competitions, for example, because here she's also under pressure, of course, because she needs to throw very good and she needs to throw very precise. So it's good to take these situations to your training and practice. So they already learn what they need to do. If apparatus is throwing a little bit far, but they have to look for something else. So they learn all that situations and competitions, they will be able to react better on that situations when something is not going perfect, which will always happen. Yeah, and in the end, just some like tips and tricks, or like, yeah, small things. Do apparatus technical basics as often as you can. It's very, very important to repeat the basics all over again and again, because every human being is like that. You practice something and then you don't practice anymore, and you forget parts and it will not be correct anymore. But it's very, very important, even for experienced gymnasts, to always repeat the basics again. So what you can do to not waste so much time, you can do in physical preparation, you can do while splits. It's very easy to roll the ball, for example, while doing splits. So you can do your basic techniques there, or you can do it as a cool down in the end of the training, just throwing with the left arm, for example, at the end of the training, when mostly you're throwing the right. And you need to teach the gymnasts a high variety of apparatus technical elements. So they're able to do a lot. I mean, they need to know all the basic throws and they need to be able to do them. You cannot just skip one because the gymnast does not learn it directly, but you have to be patient and to repeat it until she can do it, because they need to be able to do all basics. It's not possible to skip something here. In the basic, every gymnast needs to be able to do everything. And in competitions, only do things that you're 100% sure that you can do them. Don't do anything that you can do like maybe 50% or even 80%. In competition, at one point, they will fail. Like even things that you can do 100% in trainings, they will maybe fail in competitions. But things that you can only do for 70% in trainings, they will fail for sure. Of course, you can work on them and you can practice, and you need to because you want to go ahead. But in competitions, better not to do too difficult things, but really things that they know technically very right. If they know technically very right what they are doing, they will not do mistakes. If they understand what they are doing, if they understand what the ball is doing, what the body is doing, if they understand in which moment they have to catch and how to catch, they will do it in competitions. But if they don't understand, if they're just doing, I mean, everybody knows sometimes girls, they're just doing and they're just lucky and they're catching, it will not happen in competitions mostly. And also be smart by choosing ADs or apparatus technicals, also elements in body difficulty. Don't make it like too difficult, make it safe, and look that you are getting like good points, of course, but there are also always easy solutions for getting good points. And don't try to be, I don't know, outstanding or breathtaking elements that are very difficult, but don't give you any points. It makes no sense. I mean, it's nice to look at, but if you want to have good results, it makes no sense. Better stick with like really safe catches or really safe apparatus technical elements that you can perform on a high level. It's way better than to do crazy stuff that you cannot really perform in the end. And always stick like to the rule to go from the easy things to the hard things, from the easy to complicated, complex. Don't skip any steps, always go like slowly. And if it takes time, it takes time. And really difficult things, they need time. You cannot like expect small gymnasts to do very difficult things, because if you want to do really difficult things in a young age, they need to work a lot. And mostly like I'm not sure how it is for you in India, but mostly countries don't have that much time in training. It's mostly for Russia. So better like give them a little bit more time and give them a little bit more experience so they can do at a certain age what you want them to do. And they don't need to do it in a very young age, but they need to be able to do it with 15, 16 if they want to be on a high level in the important ages. And yeah, of course, be patient and explain things over and over again, because the gymnast, they will always forget a lot. And you will think, oh my God, I said that 100,000 times. And I mean, sometimes you will feel stupid already to say it again, because you think it's not possible that I need to say it again, but probably it is. So repeat and repeat and be patient and don't ever give up, because it takes a lot of time. It's very difficult stuff that we want to teach the girls, and it takes time. So that's it. Thank you for your time. And yeah.
Manoj,
thank you.
Manoj,
Yes, sir.
I have one question to Camilla.
Yes, please.
Camilla, my voice is reaching to you? Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. How you identify the talent in RG?
Sorry, I didn't understand that acoustically.
Okay. How you identify the talent in rhythmic gymnastics? If there is any specific test to identify?
I'd say talent in rhythmic gymnastics is, of course, they need a certain flexibility. It's we need to have it, and a certain the anthropometrics of a girl they need to have. We know all. It's like long legs, but also they need to have very good coordination. Nowadays, coordination is everything. So probably the gymnast that is better coordinated will be more successful than the gymnast that has a very nice body but cannot do anything with it. Of course, best is a combination, but like coordinative skills, they are very important, and you can already see them in very young ages. So how they go with the apparatus, if they throw and they forget to look at it, this girl will not be very good coordinated. So this is what is most important, is coordinative skills nowadays. Before it was, of course, a little bit different, but now it is like this. So that's what you should look at first, because all the other skills you can kind of teach. Everybody can learn a split. It's if you give enough time, everybody will learn it in the end, and everybody will learn how to bend its back. Of course, the one will be better or worse, but everybody can learn that things.
Thank you. Thank you,
So, Camilla, can you please stop sharing your screen? So now we have more questions I want to ask.
Yes.
Actually, yes. So, Camilla, I got some questions from related to, so in our last session in flexibility, I got some questions related to flexibility and RG. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes. So Camilla, the question is from our senior coach, Dr. P. Ravinder. So in RG gymnastics, the gymnasts are hyper flexibility.
Yes.
So is there any problem in pregnancy for the future?
Yeah, I'm not a doctor, so I cannot give you like an answer from the perspective of a doctor. But what I can say, I know a lot of gymnasts, and I also know a lot of gymnasts that they have kids, and I've never heard of any problems. And what I can say is that if you have a strong body, of course you need to be flexible, but if you build your muscles right, you won't have any problems in your career with the injuries. You need always to have like a balance between flexibility and strength of your body. And if you keep that balance in a wide way, there will be no problems, I think.
Okay, thank you, Camilla, for clear. So, and what is the right age to start rhythmic gymnastics?
The right age is to start around 3 to 7. So if you start at 3, it would be best. But if you start, for example, in the age of 3 with some other gymnastics, you can also start with rhythmic gymnastics a little bit later, because in the early ages, like 3 to 7, all gymnastics, they're kind of the same. It's the same basis. So, but you should start between 3 to 7 years with some kind of gymnastics for sure.
Okay, and the last questions, Camilla, it is from flexibility, like related to, like some gymnasts have a less flexibility, some is a higher flexibility. So is like any difference that who has better flexibility, is there more marks or something in routine? So she can take advantage with the higher flexibility?
What gives you points or what doesn't give you a point is like it's always needs to be 180 degrees. If the gymnast is able to perform 180 degrees, there will be no deduction in the routine. But if she's not able to do 180 degrees, she will not get any points. So if, for example, one gymnast is doing 180 degrees and the other gymnast is doing 200 degrees, there will be no difference, or maybe a small difference in artistic, but no difference in the body difficulty. But if she's not able to do 180 degrees, it's not enough, and elements will not be counted, and she needs to practice more then.
Thank you, Camilla. Thank you very much for the wonderful session. Hopefully, any questions, sir? Yes, sir.
Camilla, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Can this one, it is a true that the thin and heighted body is an advantage in RG, rhythmic gymnastics?
I'm sorry, I really understand. Not, can you speak a little bit slower?
It is true that thin and height is an advantage in rhythmic gymnastics? Height of gymnast?
Not really. I think the height is not really giving any hint. Of course, a certain height looks more elegant. So to have if you are higher, you look more elegant, but if you're smaller, you're faster. So both has its own advantages. It depends on what you need. And nowadays you need to be very fast. So I think nowadays it's even better if you're not too high. But still, of course, we are a sport where you need to be very elegant, and we really depend on that. So it's nice if the gymnast has a certain height and if she has long legs. But you don't get points in the end for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Camilla. Thank you very much for clear everything. So now we can meet with Camilla on the Thursday with some more new techniques and some more new informations. So Camilla, see you on Thursday. Thank you. Thank you very much on the behalf of Sai. I will give you big thanks for coming here and giving such kinds of informations which are very useful for our young coaches and the all RG fraternity. Thank you very much, Camilla.
Thank you too. It was a pleasure.
Now, अभी मैं आपको कल के सेशंस के बारे में थोड़ा सा बताऊंगा कि कल हमारा सेशंस आंद्रे लेविट के साथ है, फ्लोर स्पेसिफिकेशंस के साथ, और कल आंद्रे हमें कुछ और मोर ट्विस्टिंग्स के बारे में और डबल्स मूवमेंट्स के बारे में कॉन्सेप्ट दिखाने के लिए आएंगे. सो हमसे 12 बजे जुड़े रहिए. कल 12 बजे से सेशन स्टार्ट होगा. 12 बजे हमारा नेक्स्ट सेशन स्टार्ट होगा कल आंद्रे के साथ, और होपफुली आप लोगों को आज अच्छा लगा होगा. काफी अच्छी इंफॉर्मेशंस मिली है हमें कैमिला से. सो इसको हम यूज करेंगे, मे बी इट विल यूजफुल. सीनियर कोचेस है उनको मे बी सबसे पहले पता होगा ये सारी बातें, या नहीं पता कुछ यंग कोचेस है उनको अभी नई जानकारी मिली होगी. सो फिर भी हमारी नॉलेज अपडेट है एंड हम इसको रिफाइन कर रहे हैं. सो होपफुल ये आप लोगों को सबको आने वाले फ्यूचर में काम आएंगी. सो थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर एवरीवन एंड अटेंडेंस के लिए साई कोचेस प्लीज जुड़े रहें. सो बाकी लोगों से थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर लिसनिंग. थैंक यू कैमिला.
Thank you.
बाय बाय कैमिला.
Bye.
All Sai coaches are requested to stay back and the rest can leave the meeting.
Camilla? Oh, okay. She's gone. And we will try to provide the physical preparation video also and PPT also from the Camilla. And I am trying to provide you by this evening. So video is like काफी बड़े फॉर्मेट में है, सो उसके लिए गूगल ड्राइव या कुछ जो भी है मैं ईमेल के थ्रू भेज सकता हूँ.
मनोज ये भेज देना. और ये अभी का जो पीपीटी है आपके पास?
सर उन्होंने एक्चुअली दिया नहीं अभी तक, वो मुझे देंगे. मैंने उनको बोला था, वो कह रहे मैं खत्म करने के बाद दूंगा पीपीटी. तो वो मुझे प्रोवाइड करेंगे सर.
ठीक है, वी विल शेयर इट
प्लीज. श्योर. और वीडियोस भी हैं सर फिजिकल प्रिपरेशन के, वो भी, क्योंकि आज 1 घंटे के टाइम में वो सभी वीडियोस नहीं दिखा पाए, तो वो जरूर शेयर करेंगे सर, उन्होंने कहा है.
ओके. निकिता बेटा ले लो अटेंडेंस.
हाँ जी सर, वो नॉन साई कोचेस अभी भी है, लोगों को जाने.
Substitute non Sai coaches, please quit the session as soon as possible.
वैसे मैंने ना निकिता आज टिक मार कर दिया काफी.
ठीक है सर.
एडवांस में हेल्प हो गया सर.
हाँ जी सर, मैंने भी थोड़ा बहुत देख लिया था कौन कौन है कौन कौन नहीं है. फिर भी प्रोटोकॉल है, लेना पड़ेगा सर एंड में.
ये सुरेंद्र कुमार आया क्या? कुमार, आई हैव नॉट सीन सुरेंद्र.
All Sai coaches are requested to stay back and rest. Please leave the meeting as soon as possible. We need to take the attendance. जो साई कोचेस नहीं है काइंडली मीटिंग छोड़ दीजिए ताकि हम अटेंडेंस ले पाए साई कोचेस का.
सर मैं रिमूव करना शुरू करता हूँ मैम, जो पता लगेगा बाहर से.
Ma'am, I think we can start taking the attendance now. Amarjyoti ma'am?
हाँ बच्चे.
Ma'am, I think we can start taking the attendance now. It's 78 people.
हाँ बेटा पठानिया जी है ना?
हाँ जी, पठानी जी है.
Is he unmute?
Yeah, he is unmuted.
Then can you please ask him? पठानिया जी.
पठानिया सर.
पठानिया जी.
स्क्रीन नहीं दिखाई.
अच्छा बेटा इज ऑल राइट, मैं लेती हूँ. ये क्या है? संजय मोरे.
एक सेकंड.
है मैम. यस प्रेजेंट है मैम.
दीपक शिर्के
है मैम. है.
आर के बिजॉय
है मैम.
स्मृति शर्मा
है.
डी के राठौड़
है. आज है.
स्वप्ना वर्मा
है मैम.
संध्या कौल
है मैम.
पिंकी देव.
प्लीज डोंट शेयर.
Yes ma'am.
है.
हाँ है.
सोनाली साहा
है मैम.
शुक्ला चौधरी
है मैम. आज है.
शंपा सेनी
है मैम.
राजेंद्र शर्मा जी,
है मैम।
ललित अमेटा,
Yes, ma'am.
अनिल कुमार रावत
है मैम।
है।
है
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 ma'am.
अच्छा ठीक है। गिरीश नौटियाल,
है मैम।
माधवी भराज,
है मैम।
कुलदीप सिंह सैनी,
है मैम।
रामकृष्ण वी लोखंडे,
है मैम।
मनोहर सिंह नागर,
है मैम।
रंजीत कुमार दास,
है मैम।
सोमा नंदी,
है मैम।
विनोद कुमार राम,
है मैम।
अंजना देवी,
आई एम नॉट सीन।
Yes, ma'am. She's there. She's there.
ओके, अशोक एन मोते मोटे बेनौर,
है मैम।
Yes, ma'am. है.
सुरेंद्र कुमार,
Yes, ma'am.
हनुमान सिंह राठौड़,
है मैम।
चंद्रशेखर,
है
Yes,
मैम
ma'am.
दीदी।
सुरजीत सिंह,
है मैम।
ई चंद्रकांत राव,
है मैम।
रविंद्र कुमार,
है मैम।
अभिषेक शर्मा,
है मैम। है।
राजेंद्र कुमार पठानिया जी, सुपर्णा दास,
Yes, ma'am. She's there.
मृदुल अधिकारी,
Yes, ma'am.
राज दुरिया,
Yes, ma'am.
लखन शर्मा,
Yes, ma'am.
स्क्रीन शेयर कर रहा
चौहान,
क्या चौहान मैम?
के एस चौहान,
KS चौहान. KS. Yes, ma'am.
पठानिया जी पूरा है बेटा। अच्छा ठीक है। पार्था प्रथिम बैनर्जी,
Yes, ma'am.
वो भी
भूपेंद्र कौर सीमा,
Yes, ma'am.
सुषमा जोशी,
Yes.
वो भी है मैम।
सुदीप कौर गिल,
Sudeep Kaur Gill.
बेटा कुलदीप, KUL, कुलदीप,
Okay, okay, okay. Yes, ma'am.
एलोरा मंगला,
Yes.
जिमी अंजाना,
Yes, ma'am.
अशोक कुमार मिश्रा जी,
Yes,
है
ma'am.
मैम।
माने चेतन,
वो भी है
Yes,
मैम।
ma'am.
पाबला जी,
वो भी है मैम।
Yes, ma'am.
रोहित जायसवाल,
यस
Yes,
मैम।
सुमित सुमित मकनारिया,
Yes, ma'am.
कनिका,
Yes, ma'am.
साजनदीप,
Yes, ma'am.
मनोहर
Yes,
कन्याल,
ma'am.
कायल,
Yes.
जो भी है। हाँ,
Yes, ma'am.
उसके बाद बाबा जी,
Yes,
DL
ma'am.
बाबा एंड
Yes,
और विशाल दीप।
विशाल दीप भी
Yes,
है
ma'am.
अच्छा हो गया बेटा। मनोज जी हो गया, सब प्रेजेंट हैं।
थैंक यू मैम।
ठीक है मैम.
Thank you,
Thank you, ma'am.
थैंक यू।
Thank you. I'm ending the
See you
meeting.
tomorrow।
See you tomorrow, ma'am.
ओके बेटा, ओके, बाय।
Bye. Bye.